Procter and Gamble. In 1932, Procter and Gamble introduced a logo of a bearded man, framed by 13 stars. What looked harmless soon fueled mass paranoia. Viewers claimed the beard concealed 666, the biblical mark of the beast, and the stars mocked a verse from Revelation. Theories spread that the stars formed three sixes or devil horns hidden in plain sight. Despite years of denial, boycotts and lawsuits forced the company to abandon the image in 1991. The incident became one of the first corporate logos destroyed by public hysteria and religious fear. Monster Energy. The Claude M on Monster Energy cans became a target for occult speculation. Each mark resembled the Hebrew letter Vav, numerically 6, forming what critics claimed was 666, the mark of the beast. The slogan, "Unleash the Beast," amplified the accusation, linking it to Revelation's prophecy. Others pointed to the cross inside the O that inverts when the can is tilted, interpreting it as a sign of blasphemy. The company dismissed every claim, yet the logo's structure kept attracting conspiracy attention, turning the myth itself into a marketing weapon. Institute of Oriental Studies, Brazil. At Brazil's Federal University of Santa Catarina, the Institute of Oriental Studies introduced a logo meant to depict a pagoda rising behind the sun. The abstract composition, however, produced an unintended illusion that viewers described as indecent. The design spread online in 2005, drawing heavy criticism and ridicule from academics and the public. The university quickly withdrew the emblem to protect its reputation, replacing it with a safer mark. What began as cultural symbolism ended as a global example of design failure through human perception. Apple. The bitten apple was introduced in 1977 to make the shape distinguishable from a cherry, yet it became one of the most debated symbols in design. Many claimed it honored Alan Turing, the father of modern computing, who died in 1954 after biting a cyanide-laced apple. Others linked it to the biblical fruit of knowledge, reading the bite as humanity's rebellion and searching for understanding. Occult scholars later saw it as illumination through sin, turning the fall of man into the rise of intellect. A logo created for clarity transformed into a lasting emblem of curiosity and forbidden progress. Google Play Store. The triangular Play Store logo, introduced in 2012, was modeled after the universal play symbol, yet its geometry drew occult comparisons. Between 2015 and 2022, analysts noted its resemblance to the sigil of Lucifer, a symbol from an 18th century grimoire used in demonology. When rotated, the shape mirrored the seal said to invoke the fallen archangel. Critics labeled it subliminal imagery, while others viewed it as a coincidence tied to design minimalism. The logo's evolution showed how a simple geometric mark could ignite global debate over meaning, intent, and hidden symbolism. London Olympics, 2012. The 2012 Olympic logo was intended to appear modern and energetic, but it provoked immediate global backlash. Its fragmented neon shapes were mocked for resembling inappropriate imagery, and over 40,000 people petitioned for its removal. Iran even threatened to boycott the games, claiming the design spelled Zion, while others claimed it triggered epileptic seizures on broadcast. The organizers refused to alter it, defending the $400,000 design as a symbol of inclusivity. It became one of the most expensive and publicly condemned emblems in Olympic history. Airbnb. In 2014, Airbnb launched its new logo, the Belo, meant to symbolize belonging through the fusion of people, places, and love. The internet immediately saw something else. Critics compared the shape to human anatomy, alien heads, and cartoon faces, flooding social media with memes. A Tumblr page was created solely to mock the design, and others accused the company of copying the Automation Anywhere logo. Despite widespread ridicule, Airbnb refused to change it, claiming controversy was anticipated. The backlash ultimately increased recognition, turning the disputed image into one of the most discussed rebrands of the decade. Starbucks. The Starbucks logo was presented as a tribute to maritime mythology, but the company's claim of Norse inspiration never matched historical records. The original 1971 emblem depicted a topless siren with twin tails, modeled on a 15th century illustration found in J. Serlet's Dictionary of Symbols. Historians later traced the figure to Melusine, a cursed woman from French folklore who transformed into a serpent and was viewed as an omen of death. When inverted, the siren's image resembles a ram's head, a form associated with the profane idol Baphomet. Google Mail, Gmail. The original Gmail logo, introduced in 2004, showed a red outlined envelope stamped with the letter M. Viewers quickly noticed its similarity to the Royal Arch apron, a ceremonial garment worn by members of Freemasonry. Conspiracy theorists claimed it was a deliberate nod to secret societies and hidden hierarchies of power. Google dismissed the comparisons as coincidence, explaining it was based on a standard envelope motif. In 2020, the logo was redesigned into a simplified multicolor version, removing the shape that fueled years of symbolic speculation. Dirty Bird. The Welsh catering brand. Dirty Bird introduced a minimalist logo combining the letters D and B to form the outline of a rooster. What was meant as playful design quickly drew criticism for appearing sexually suggestive once printed on packaging and trucks. Marketing phrases linked to the logo fueled further outrage, framing it as intentionally provocative. The company denied the claims, calling the shape an abstract bird in flight, and refused to alter it. The dispute turned a small food vendor into a global case study on how visual design can blur the line between clever and obscene. Arlington Pediatric Center. Located in Virginia, the Arlington Pediatric Center introduced a logo intended to show a caring parent wrapping their arms around a child. When released in the early 2000s, viewers noticed that the overlapping silhouettes formed a shape that looked sexually explicit. The image went viral, drawing widespread condemnation from parents and media outlets. The organization quickly removed the logo from all signage and promotional material and issued a public apology. Junior Jazz Dance Classes. A poster for junior jazz dance classes surfaced online in the early 2000s and quickly drew global attention. The design showed two dancers in motion, but the white space between them formed the illusion of a sexual act. The image spread across forums and design blogs, sparking debates about visual perception and artistic negligence. The source of the advertisement was never confirmed, yet the image became permanently archived in digital media as an example of accidental obscenity in commercial design. Cleveland Indians, Chief Wahoo. For decades, the Cleveland Indians baseball team used Chief Wahoo, a grinning caricature of a Native American, as its official emblem. Introduced in 1947, the logo became a fixture of American sports culture but drew increasing criticism for its racial stereotyping and exaggerated features. Activists demanded its removal, calling it an offensive relic of colonial imagery. After years of protests and public pressure, the franchise retired Chief Wahoo in 2019 and renamed itself the Cleveland Guardians. Pure maple syrup, Vermont. A Vermont maple syrup label attempted to illustrate sap flowing from a tree into a barrel, symbolizing the state's traditional syrup craft. The composition, however, made the tree's outline appear like a human figure caught midstream, turning a wholesome scene into an unintended joke. The image spread online, provoking criticism and disbelief over its design oversight. The origin of the logo was never confirmed, and it was soon withdrawn from circulation. Hillary Clinton campaign logo, 2015. Hillary Clinton's 2015 campaign logo featured a blue H crossed by a bold red arrow, meant to convey movement and progress. The design immediately divided opinion. Supporters saw it as simple and forward-facing, while critics read the arrow as pointing toward the political right. Others compared it to hospital wayfinding signs, calling it sterile and uninspiring for a presidential run. Despite the criticism, the campaign refused redesign efforts, defending it as efficient and adaptable for digital media. It became a defining example of how political branding can fracture public interpretation before a single vote is cast. Catholic Church Youth Commission. In 1973, the Archdiocese Youth Commission of the Catholic Church unveiled a logo meant to represent spiritual guidance and mentorship. The abstract design, however, drew immediate outrage for its composition, which appeared disturbingly suggestive. Despite the reaction, the logo was submitted to the Art Directors Club of Los Angeles, and controversially received an award for creativity. The church soon removed the emblem after backlash from clergy and the public. It remains one of the most cited design missteps in religious branding history. Locom, Sweden. In 2001, the Swedish property management firm Locom sent a Christmas card featuring a redesigned version of its logo. The company replaced the O with a red heart, intending to create a warm seasonal message. English-speaking audiences, however, noticed that the alteration spelled out an explicit word, turning a friendly gesture into international mockery. The company quickly withdrew the design, but not before images circulated widely online. It remains a classic example of how linguistic context can transform an innocent rebrand into a branding disaster. Aunt Jemima. First introduced in the late 1800s, the Aunt Jemima brand was built around imagery rooted in minstrel show stereotypes. The name came from a popular minstrel song, and the logo depicted a smiling black woman styled as the Mammy, a caricature symbolizing servitude and racial subordination. Over the decades, redesigns softened her features and modernized her appearance, yet the racial origins of the brand persisted. Amid growing public criticism and racial justice movements, Quaker Oats retired the name in 2021, rebranding it as Pearl Milling Company. The change marked the end of one of the longest-running racialized trademarks in American commerce. To understand how far that ambition once reached, watch Every Insane Nazi World Plan Explained by a German. Like and subscribe for more disturbing truths history tried to bury.